Hey everybody, this is Cam, and this was our January 19th, 2025 drive through the Nantahala National Forest via the Foothills Parkway. And this section here you see is what they refer to as the Devil's, or the Dragon's Tail of the Dragon, whatever. And this was sketchy, and we weren't even supposed to be on it, and I'll explain why pretty soon, further in the video. So anyway, to give you guys a little bit of context about why I filmed this and why I'm making this video, it's kind of like a warning to people. You know, in the wintertime, you want to go on a vacation. And I'll get into all the reasons why here in a minute. I'm from the Great White North, so I drive in snow all the time. We have hills, we have cliffs, we have switchbacks. But the mountains are just a different animal altogether. And so how this all started, I will post the 1/19/25 radar or weather forecast and what was to be expected this day, and what ended up happening and why we even wanted to go this way on our way back home on our last day. Well, that was basically for photography, to sightsee, stuff like that. Maybe catch a bear, which we did, and I'll put a picture of that up too. So on this day, January 19th, we headed out from Pigeon Forge from our hotel room. We were on our way back home, and we wanted to go up to Newfound Gap, which anybody that's been there, it's the big mountain you see right across from the Sky Bridge. Well, the Department of Interior to come in earlier that day, their reporting system can sometimes be a few hours delayed, and we couldn't get up there. So we came up with the idea, well, let's go the Foothills Parkway. And mind you, I knew what the weather was going to be doing. It was still a couple hours away. It wasn't anywhere near freezing yet, even at the higher elevations. So I figured, 20, 30 mile section of, switchbacks we should be able to do in a couple hours. And we'll be well ahead of the weather. Problem is we headed south, and we were going to head up 129. And there's a little area there. I can't remember the name of the town. You guys that maybe see this can help me out. It's north of Tellico Plains. And we go to get over that pass on that road, and there's a cop at the bottom turning everybody around, saying there's two cars stuck up on the top of that mountain, so you won't be getting through here. Very nice cop. So we asked him, how do we get to Foothills Parkway, Nantahala, the quickest way and open way, and he led us around. Little did we know, he sent us the long way around. I don't remember what it was. It was like, I think a 441 or something like that, 441, State Route 441, that brings you to the Tail of the Dragon. And that's how this all started. So here's where actually everything went wrong. I'm going to put a picture up here of the entire trail, and I'll just leave that up. And as you'll see at the bottom right, that's the bottom ending of the Dragon's Tail, or Tail of the Dragon. And remember how I mentioned earlier that the officer that we ran into on 129 in that little town north of Tellico Plains told us to go this route. What he did not tell us, as you can see on that map at the bottom, it forks off at the little, I think it's a little bar there, a place people stop to get food, little bar, little, tourist stop. You can fork off left, and that'll head you towards Bryson City. And then what looks like a continuation of the Dragon's Tail, aka Foothills Parkway, is off to the right. And that's which way we went. We stayed on and veered right. And little did we know, that was kind of a mistake. So we head south. As you can tell on the map, it's actually, you veer right, but you're actually heading south now. Little did we know, back into Tellico Plains, which, had I known then what I know now, I do believe, correct me if I'm wrong, is about a 27 or 28 mile section of some of the harshest inclines, downhills, switchbacks. It's paved, but add in the wet road, icy, snowy factor, and it becomes a little bit hairy. So as I said, talking to that cop, nobody told us which way to go on this. And the original idea, we wanted to go into Maggie Valley, which is not far from Bryson City. We're going to have lunch and then head home. This original whole thing was supposed to last maybe a few hours. And this whole ordeal, we left out from our hotel at about 10 a.m. The storm was about 2 hours behind us. I had it tracked out, so I thought we could be done in 2 to 3, maybe hit a little bit of snow, and then be out of the worst of the weather, and well on our way back home. Well, little did I know we were going to be in that car for 7 hours. And what you're seeing in the video right now was the section we did, the 11 miles of the Tail of the Dragon, which was fine for the most part. And I'll show you some images of how the snow progressed further on. But it got crazy. So another thing I wanted to state is, I forgot to say this, but on this day we were in my wife's 2025 front-wheel drive Trailblazer, which I should say did very well. But what we should have had is my CRV, as you see here. But we didn't take it. And but anyhow, so what I'm going to do now, and I'll like I said, this is all about a warning. Make sure you map out your trips. Make sure that you know the exact mileage, the average time it takes, what the weather looks like, because it can really turn south really quick. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put in, I didn't get to record a lot of this, so we got pictures. Last thing we wanted to do was start filming while we're trying to not go off the edge into a ravine. So we got a couple of pictures of how quickly this progressed at the end of the Tail of the Dragon, just a few miles up onto the other route we went, back towards Tellico. And then I've got a short video of me driving, and that's what I'm going to share with you guys now. But yeah, just be careful out there. This could have very easily turned into being stuck up on a mountain for hours, if not a couple of days, until somebody could come get you. Because from my understanding, they don't treat a lot of these roads. So the whole time we were watching the temperature in the car that was telling us, it's dropping, from 35 degrees to 34 degrees to 30, and I knew once it started freezing at those, 5,000 plus elevations that we got into, that's when it was going to become very dangerous. So you can imagine I was very relieved when we started coming down the hills and the temperature started raising above freezing again, because we got down to, I think, 18 degrees. And by the grace of God, we made it out and didn't get stuck. But up here coming, I'm going to show you guys the video and a few pictures of just time lapses. There's 2 photos of where you can see the weather moving in, and then just how dark, almost blizzard-like conditions on the way back to Tellico on Foothills Parkway, I'm assuming is what it was. So anyway, y'all be safe. Make sure you map out your trips better than we did, and don't take any advice from anyone. And as you can imagine, bad weather, and depending on your cell phone provider, we didn't have any service, so we couldn't use Google Maps or navigation in the car. So anyhow, all we could use was the navigation dashboard that would just show where we are currently. So anyhow, be safe out there. And as you can see here, more of the slush. I'll try to progress it the best I can, because like I said, we didn't record everything because we were just trying to drive safely. But this was at the very end of the Dragon's tail, and it was starting to get pretty slushy, as you can tell right here. And here we are at about 5,000, I think 200 feet, if I'm not mistaken. And this is when I started getting really, really worried. Only a few vehicles, four-wheel drives, had passed us, and little did I know this was the very beginning of it all. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. Like I said, this was more my mistake combined with listening to somebody else that might have accidentally made a mistake. And be prepared when you're in winter weather in the mountains. I learned from my mistake, so that's what it was about. But again, thank you for watching. If you like this, subscribe. There's more adventures coming, and camping and overlanding, paranormal investigations and whatnot. So give me a like, subscribe, share. Y'all have a good one.